is over.
Among Williams's readers was the teenage Wordsworth. He never literally saw Helen Maria Williams weeping at a tale of distress. He read her poems and projected an image of her as the sympathetic poet. His sonnet was almost certainly inspired by a passage in Peru, which concerns the Spanish massacre of the Incas. It's a manifestation of her anti-imperial pacifist sensibility. In a footnote, she writes, in anticipation of the coming revolutions and the freedom of the slaves, there is much reason to hope that these injured nations may recover the liberty of which they have been so cruelly deprived. And liberty is going to be one of our watchwords. But at the climax of Peru, Williams introduces a personification of sensibility, weeping for the Incas. A visionary figure descends from the clouds. It lights on earth, mild vision, gentle form, 'tis sensibility. Wet with the dew of tears, a ray of pity beaming from her eyes, sensibility addresses, ye to whose yielding hearts my power endears, the transport blended with delicious tears, the bliss that swells to agony the breast, the sympathy that robs the soul of rest. So you can see there where the language of Wordsworth's sonnet comes from. Here, the language of democratic and radical politics is mingled with that of strong feeling, agitation of the spirits, attunement to the mood of solitude. We are back in the territory of Rousseau.
Check us out
as he
on
moves between
Facebook.
his social contract with its idea of the power of the will of the people, and on the other hand, the novel of sensibility and his reveries of the solitary walker. 2 weeks after the publication of Helen Maria Williams' letters written in France, with Wordsworth back in Cambridge after his Alpine walking tour, Edmund Burke launched the counter-offensive to this vein of radical thought. Reflections on the revolution in France described the uprising of the people as the most astonishing that has hitherto happened in the world. If we look closely,
check us out on Facebook.
You can see two asses there. One is reading, it says Southey's Sapphics, and the one at the top is reading Coleridge's Dactylics. These are references to volumes of poetry that Southey and Coleridge had published. And down at the bottom was a frog and a toad holding blank verse. And there are two chaps called Charles Lloyd and Charles Lamb, who were very close friends of Wordsworth and Coleridge. And among the verses at the bottom of the caricature, we read a reference to, and ye five other wandering bards that move in sweet accord of harmony and love. Again, see how that language of harmony and love is associated with radicalism. Those bards, C.DGE, Coleridge, and Southey, Lloyd and Lamb and Co. Tune all your mystic harps to praise Le Poe.
Check us out on Facebook.
The fifth bard, the and Co. Is the light of setting suns and the round ocean and the living air and the blue sky, and in the mind of man, a motion and a spirit that impels all thinking things, all objects of all thought, and rolls through all things. Therefore am I still a lover of the meadows and the woods and mountains, and of all that we behold from this green earth, of all the mighty world of eye and ear, both what they half create and what perceive, well pleased to recognize in nature and the language of the sense the anchor of my purest thoughts, the nurse, the guide, the guardian of my heart, and soul of all my moral being.
To me, all that I've covered so far in my summary for an analysis leads me to conclude that it's sounding posh and pervy, eloquent elegance of it all. is somewhat extravagant. They laid it on real thick in all its liberal sense. Persuasive, I think permissive. All I've really got on my mind right at the moment is fuck your brothers. Sorry about that. Let's look at language a little more, and in furtherance, make my mind up some more. All right. So, just to resume,
John Locke published an essay concerning human understanding in 1689. In Book 2 of the treatise, Locke argues that all knowledge is derived from sensation and reflection. This type of epistemology is known as empiricism. Empiricism contradicts Descartes' rationalism. Descartes believed that the senses could not serve as a foundation for the superstructure of knowledge. All perceptions, according to Descartes, might be illusions, like those in dreams. Instead, one must form knowledge based upon principles derived purely from reason, sensation of coldness within us. 7. Locke presents his theory regarding personal identity. He insists solely in the continuity of consciousness.
Bath, Somerset. Let's just get back to the topic of sincere poetics. For the summary and analysis, part 5 of John Locke and the essay concerning human
Line of reasoning reminded me of Protagoras' relativism that was outlined in Plato's Theaetetus and Aristotle's Metaphysics. To briefly review Protagoras' position, he states that man is the measure of all things. In other words, if one man perceives water as cold, then the water is cold. If another man perceives the same water as hot, then the water is hot. Both Plato and Aristotle refute Protagoras' relativism by demonstrating that it violates the principle of non-contradiction. The same water cannot be cold and not cold at the same time. However, I believe that Locke's distinction of primary and secondary qualities affords a defense for Protagoras. Referring back to the water example, coldness and hotness do not exist in the water itself. The water, on the other hand, has the power to produce the sensation of coldness and hotness, but it is neither hot nor cold in itself. Perhaps it will be easier to understand if we consider another example. Consider the nature of fire. Clearly, pain does not exist in the fire itself, but we perceive pain when we touch a flame. Pain, therefore, is a secondary quality of fire, not a primary quality.
We build up to a couple of my own poems that I featured at my asset in Facebook. Please do follow us at Facebook, follow us at Instagram as well, and also follow us at SoundClick. We do have a Twitter as well, although it's an integrated Twitter. It features sincere artists and whatnot.
Follow us on Facebook,
right.
Twitter, and Instagram.
Alright, we're just going to get into a poem. This is by me. It was written on the 1st of September last year, 2020. It's called The Remembrance. It's an acrostic. It's also under my pen name Elkanah, which is my Hebrew name for Frank. Tepid ablutions, hand wash to the goddess of wisdom. Hot showers, rest room, is I, the same nestling. Elevated Acis, bathe like a disillusioned little boy. Rural communities order now, a man and not inferior. Oral gargles compress in warm adoration of Aquasulis, midfield's tub. Nether intelligences abject. Agricultural enterprises carry laden with idiocy's frouse. Nutmeg therapy, my teaspoon's yoke. Black populations populate, alien civilizations walk. Toxic handlers cry, but not like my babyhood left side still marked. Human handlers, my hometown's resources. So sophisticated, it glimmers with historical consequence. Okay, lastly, this is a second poem by me. This is a poem featured at Faces of Poetry. It's a public group at Facebook. This is called River Avon. It's an acrostic. It's also by my pen name, Elkanah.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Regional settings called and named. Immense stretches grow with flow. Valuable lands rolling. Endings task. Realistic settings breezy and beloved untamed. Abrupt twists run. Visible comings chronicle. Ocean coastlines large and dependable rogue. Naked endings walk to the park.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
So, with that, and finding letters and scriptures, the ditties and the memories of the hearts and times of what is abstract polity and the system that's subject, like garden votes. It's all emotive, it's factors, it's tension, it's rejection versus rejection. The factors of influence, the administrative and affective tediums, all the details of abilities and inabilities, like a man of first importance in an individual's boredom. What you are left with is the ecclesiastic politics. Yes, the ecclesiastic politics of fear. And the situation pre-game and dark. Yes, that's right, the situation pre-game and dark. What oppresses is furthered resolve. At least the feelings of that conflict in both sides of the lots. Yeah, and it's editing. What we need to do is look at the feed and what the posts are actually stating.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter,
to understand
and Instagram.
Any disparity between two or more facts. I busy myself with this, and I can see not a lot's going on. My thoughts.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I might just like to take a look at Regards, Complimentary Close, an unbroken phrasal poem by Elkanah. In short, I didn't. Year of the angel number, seemingly are fixed. Morsaki, and on deadlines. Hag's nose of no progress ends. Caught up in fraud's song, a museum demon lacked. Dreamy failings wet, toxic blackmailers to hush. Idiots League bottom teams. No tears, wolf being circumstantial for bad boys put 10 years more, fools. The liable pilot debt, liars, neglectful taxes, all the tenths and eighths, more than half an ounce a day, urban rural scent, cocaine and heroin pop, as I list, right, Billie Jean.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I don't know what else to say other than that. Look at what might be possible in terms of dark Roman posts. Not really. Doesn't really get to. Doesn't get to. Alright. So that's that. I think I've done 3 poems. Maybe I should do a 4th.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
There's nothing. I can't do anything. I'll have to just leave it at that. What I thought in terms of the summary, well, I don't really know what to think. You'll have to make your own mind up. If you come into Bath, please visit safely. Be safe. COVID-19 is raging all over the world and killing people in their millions. So there you go. All right. Thanks for tuning in and listening. It's another Sincere Webcast.
Thanks for listening.
Brought to you by me and Sincere
Follow
Webcast.
us on Facebook,
Please follow
Twitter,
us at Facebook,
and
Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for tuning in.